my eyes are being opened more and more to what we have access to as believers in Jesus Christ. Let's talk about the whole man for a moment. We know that we are a spirit. We live in a body and we have a soul, our mind, will, and emotions. And many times we live more so from a place of the soul and the body than in the spirit. But as born again believers, our spirit has been born of God's spirit, and they're now one and the same. And so I like how Andrew Womack says it, 1/3 of us is wall to wall Holy Ghost. So how do we live in a place where our body and our soul are subject to the Spirit of God that is in us, where our inner man and God's Spirit are now connected and one? Because let me tell you, I think you may already know that the way that we feel, which is to be carnally minded, leads to death, but to be spiritually minded leads to life and peace. But when we live in a place of carnality, we're moved by our emotions and how we feel and what we see. The five senses become more real than what is actually real in the spiritual realm. Everything that manifests in the natural starts in the spirit. So how do we live in a place where we are living and walking in the spirit if that's where everything starts? I think the first thing we need to do is know that we've got to die to ourself. Smith Wigglesworth has a story that he shares in one of his books about a young monk that went to his father and asked him that very question: how do we die to ourselves? And so the dad sends him to a grave of somebody who had just passed away and tells him to speak praise to that person in the grave and then come back and report what happened. And so the young boy goes and does it. And then he's like, Dad, nothing happened. And so the dad sends him back out and says, go do it again. But this time, speak criticism and negative words over the person. And so the boy goes again, does the same thing, and comes back and was like, nothing happened. So his dad goes, this is what it is to die to self. You can hear praise from the world, criticism from man, and yet nothing moves you. Because now you're living in a place that is here. Our feelings and emotions and everything up and down, they're fickle. They'll lie to us every time. But when we choose to walk in the Spirit, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, and so on. That is what we get to choose to walk in when we are not controlled by our mind, will, emotions, and the body that we live in. And so in the month of October, we're going to look more at the inner man and God's Spirit and how they work together so that we can live in a place of the Spirit and experience the life and peace that God promises. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.